ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. So welcome to our Saturday morning session. We are sorry that we could not have a session last week because of some unavoidable circumstances. But we shall continue in the future. Now we will continue on our journey of chapter 16 of Bhagavad Gita, where we are talking about Devi Sampada and Asuri Sampada. Now, just to recapture a little bit, you see, we saw one particular verse here, which is actually forms the foundation of what is Asuri Sampada. Now, this verse is verse number 8. And I'd like to emphasize that verse once again. वे आसुरी प्रकृति वाले मनुष्य कहा करते हैं कि जगत आश्रय रहित सर्वथा असत्य बिना ईश्वर के अपने आप स्त्री पुरुष के संयोग से उत्पन्न हुआ है, अतएव केवल काम ही इसका कारण है और कुछ भी नहीं है. Now this is the kind of thinking which actually leads to Asuri Sampada, which actually leads to very, mean behavior in life. Now, if you believe that everything is made of matter, there is no supreme power regulating, there is no interrelationship between the forces which are operating in this universe, these are all accidental, then naturally your tendency would be that just do whatever you feel like doing. Whatever makes you happy, you do that. This whole concept arises from the very fact that there is no regulator there, there is no interconnection between the forces. You are a product of an accident and therefore live in whatever manner you want to live. In that kind of thinking, you will have no ethics, no morality, no legality, because whatever you do, that's it. And that is the foundation of Asuri behavior. This is what Lord Krishna has emphasized. In fact, a large part of the scientific theory today actually leads to this Asuri behavior. For example, you take the, Charles Darwin's theory of Vikasvad. In Hindi, I call it Vikasvad. That is theory of origin of the human being. Now he says that there is this material world. A particular combination of matter gave rise to a cell, and the cells multiplied, and then the various organisms came into being. Now, he does not explain how the matter can convert into consciousness. I have not seen a mountain turning into consciousness even after millions of years. We know there are mountains which are existing for millions of years. They have not become conscious after that many years. So that premise itself is wrong. Then how the property of multiplication comes into existence, that has not been explained at all. So that kind of theories actually tell us that there's nothing else except matter in this world. So exploit the nature. The whole process of exploitation of nature comes from that concept. And that is why in the Western world, particularly after the Industrial Revolution and more so after the Second World War, there has been a big race for exploitation of nature. There are very famous books written on this, that how to exploit the nature. and the whole concept of harmony with nature was completely disturbed. And that is why we have these problems of climate change, erratic weather patterns, and in fact all the scientists today agree that if we continue on this path, actually the temperatures will rise very soon, and the whole existence of the variety of races on this earth will come in a sort of danger. So this is what actually happens if you follow this kind of thinking in life. On the other hand, the thinking in our system in ancient Indian wisdom is that Brahma is a conscious power. That conscious power gives birth to matter. The matter originates from consciousness. That is what Lord Krishna also said in chapter 7, that मेरी दो प्रकृतियां हैं, that I have two kinds of powers. The external power is the power which gave birth to eight, manifest matter. That is the akash, that is sky or akash, then air, then fire, then water, then earth, then man, that is mind, buddhi, that is intellect, and ahankar, that is ego. So all these eight external forces which are manifest in this world, they come from the external power of the Supreme. And the life force comes from his parasakti. So he has divided this into para and apara. Apara is the external power, para is the life force. So that is the explanation which our writings have given to the origin of this world. On the other hand, the modern science gives a very different interpretation. And because of that interpretation, we are today facing enormous problems arising due to exploitation of nature at will to fulfill our desires. So that is the foundation of that asuri behavior of human society. Now we will go to verse number 10. We had covered up to verse number 9 last time, but I went back to verse number 8 because of this foundation which it lays down for asuri conduct. वे दंभ मान और मद से युक्त मनुष्य किसी प्रकार भी पूर्ण न होने वाली कामनाओं का आश्रय लेकर अज्ञान से मिथ्या सिद्धांतों को ग्रहण करके और भ्रष्ट आचरण को धारण कर संसार में विचरते हैं. Now in the Sanskrit version it says काम माश्रितस्य दुष्पूरम दंभ मान madan vinta. Dambh, man, mad. These are the three foundations of that behavior. Now, dambh is a false pretense. You project yourself what you are not. That is dambh. Man is, an issue of prestige, that this is what I deserve and I should get it. And mad is basically, ego. So these three. Now, if you look at the people of Asuri behavior, you will find that their behavior is based on these three premises. Either they are projecting themselves what they are not. There's like some people I know, they will project that, I am connected to Prime Minister, I know this Chief Minister, I know this Minister, I know so and so, and I know Rahul Gandhi, and I know Priyanka or whatever. They project while they don't know anything, they try to project. That is a dump. That is a behavior which is based on false, statements. Then there are some people who actually have some power, like, okay, the people who are rich, who have good connections, they try to project their power to fulfill their ego. They are not projecting something which is not in existence, but they are projecting something to project their own ego and to advance their what you call social status. Now, these three categories, Damb, Man, and Mad, they are these categories. All the people who engage into Asuri conduct, they would have these characteristics to begin with. This is the foundation. The foundation of Devic behavior we saw is Abhay and Bilkul absolutely simple behavior. Absolutely simple behavior, absolutely pure behavior, and Abhay. That is no without fear. The foundation of Asuri behavior is these three things. Now, what they do, once you have that desire to project yourself in the society, then what do? You try to exploit the resources. You try to big a very big house. You try to buy a big car. You try to acquire positions of power. Uh, you try to open institutions which create your so-called social status in the society. So this is what happens, and these desires are infinite in nature. That's what they say, दुष्पूरम, जो कभी पूरी होती नहीं है या बड़ी मुश्किल से कभी पूरी होती हैं. These are desires which are infinite. They actually grow in geometric progression. I know people, like yesterday I went for a wedding. I saw people coming in bigger and bigger cars and projecting themselves that they are very powerful people. Now there's a competition in Rajasthan that you should have marriage age at very large scale. So people try to hire big venues and invite so many guests and have so many dishes and so many variety of decorations. Now this is part of that process, that you try to project yourself very, very high in the society. And this comes from Dambhaman and Mad, these three foundations from which whole process starts. So these people develop these wrong, siddhant, that is wrong practices. And based on those principles and practices, they engage into behavior which is uncalled for. In fact, Lord Krishna has described that behavior, Bhrast Acharan. Bhrast Acharan, Asuchit Vrata. Asuchit means absolutely impure, absolutely despicable sort of behavior they engage. So, this is what uh, actually leads to this kind of behavior. Now, let me give you another example to explain this behavior. And this is based on my personal experiences in life. I do not want to name people, but based on personal experiences in life. Now, I know one or two people who are on my Facebook. Now they keep projecting themselves every single day that I made so and so. He will put photograph. I visited so and so venue. They will put photograph. I went to this restaurant. They'll put photograph. I visited this country. They'll put every single day some message will appear from their side, just to project themselves that they are in this particular category. They are a category which is exclusively deserving, which is exclusively fantastic. Now, that behavior you can see. You can see a pattern there. There are people, who post. I also post sometimes certain things, but those are natural, casual. Once a while, you do certain. You once you consider this something which people should know. But those people who do these kind of projections in a regular form are basically doing it because of these three, Dambh, Man, and Mad. That is the foundation through which all this process starts. So, this is what I wanted to emphasize in this verse, that once you have these three, one can analyze that why I am doing this particular act. And then you will realize whether I'm doing it because of Dam, because of Mad, because of Man. Then we must realize that if I am doing it because of this, it means it is not a good conduct. If we are not doing it because of any of those things, then it is a good conduct. If we are doing it as a simple lifestyle, as a simple normal behavior, then yes, that is the Devic conduct. But if you are doing any of these things because you want to promote any one of them, then it is Asuri conduct. So this we can use as a test for our own conduct. We can analyze our own conduct, how I behaved and how I am behaving, what is the foundation of my behavior. If one of these is foundation, then that is not the right direction, then we should think about changing ourselves. So this gives a very, what you call a very good test for each one of us to improve ourselves. So if we are doing this, then obviously our acharan is coming into that category, what you call brust acharan. It's not a pure conduct. It's not a simple, behavior. It is not a what we call अंदर और बाहर की शुद्धि वो नहीं है फिर उसमें. Then it is driven by certain forces inside which come into the category of those three Dambh, Man and Mad. Now next verse. तथा वे मृत्यु पर्यंत रहने वाली असंख्य चिंताओं का मृत्यु पर्यंत रहने वाली असंख्य चिंताओं का आश्रय लेने वाले विषय भोगों के भोगने में तत्पर होने वाले और इतना ही सुख है इस प्रकार मानने वाले होते हैं. नाउ दीज आर द वेरी गुड कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स एंड दीज आर ईच वर्ड इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. मृत्यु पर्यंत रहने वाली असंख्य चिंताओं. There are infinite number of anxieties and those continue till the end of your life. Now I give you some examples. I had a relative who fell sick recently. He's reasonably, wealthy, not excessively wealthy, but he can afford things. Now, even in the hospital when he was in, ICU, his main thinking was that this will cost so much, this will cost so much, why should we spend so much money? Now, this is, I don't know whether it is coming out of habit or whether it is coming because the attachment to the money. Now, this attachment to the money continues till the end of your life. These habits don't change. Even if you realize that this is not going to help, and you have enough that can be paid for the treatment, even then you have this habit. I also know another person who must be at least an owner of 10 crore rupees, at least, maybe more, maybe 20. And he is 78 years of 76 or 78 years of age now. His children are well settled abroad. Only the husband wife live here. He has invested so much money in the stock market that every morning at 9:30 he starts monitoring the stock market, and he becomes happy when the index goes up. He becomes unhappy when the index comes down. At this age, with all the circumstances surrounding him, why should he engage into that? But that kind of anxiety will continue till he dies. He doesn't know what will he do with the money. He himself, I asked him once or twice jokingly. He had no answer. But the fact is that these kind of habits, they will continue till the end of your life, till the last breath. So one should not develop these kind of habits in life. I know another person who aspires to be very high up in the power structure, who wants to become, a minister or chief minister or maybe one day prime minister. Now, he is also thinking all the time how to connect to him, how to reach there, how to get this ticket, how to get this position. All the time he has been thinking. And now we see that people who are in their even late 70s or early 80s, trying their best to become the chief ministers. We have seen the states in which the elections were held. how the very old people who have become weak, who are in the fag end of their life, they are trying their best using all types of means, fair and foul, all means they are using to acquire power. Now, this is what happens to these people. These people, till their last breath, will continue on that path. And that is why Lord Krishna has said that these desires are not going to be fulfilled ever. It is not possible to fulfill all the desires. And these are the examples which you will find in your friends circle, that there are people who are unnecessarily, without any rational reason, are getting involved in a behavior or conducting themselves in a particular fashion which is beyond understanding. And this happens because of the asuri conduct. Now, I have a few verses from Mahabharata here, which explain that if you have everything in your life, even then you will not be happy. And I would like to read out these verses. I have put them together, three, four verses. This will give you an idea. The first verse is from the Shanti Parv. There are 18 Parv in Mahabharata. Shanti Parv, 180 chapter, 24th verse. It reads like this in English. On acquiring wealth, men want to acquire a kingdom. Having acquired a kingdom, they want to become gods. And then among gods, they want to become the king of gods. This is what the Shanti Parv, chapter 180, verse 24 says. Then there's Adi Parv in Mahabharata, chapter 85, verse number 13, which reads like this. Neither all the grain in the world, nor all the gold, nor all the women are sufficient enough even for one man. Man's body decays, but not his desires. So you see what they are saying. Now there's another verse which is from again Adipar, chapter 75, verse number 50, 50. By pleasing the desires, by pleasing, the desires cannot be satisfied. With appeasement, they only grow. Like when fire, more fuel is added. You add more fuel to the fire, it becomes stronger. Similarly, the desires become stronger as you try to please them. This is what it means. Let me read one more here. This is again from Shanti Par, chapter 330, verse number 18. It is difficult to earn wealth, painful to part with it, nor is there any pleasure in guarding it. Of course, human beings are never satisfied with any amount of wealth, wanting more and more. So this style of more and more is there, and that is why Lord Krishna says कि कभी पूर्ण नहीं होने वाली कामनाओं में आदमी फंस जाता है. So we remain engaged in this process till the last breath of our life. And therefore, one must examine one's conduct slowly, slowly. Or usme what he thinks that whatever I get in my life, by collecting wealth or by acquiring power, he feels happy and he feels that this is all the happiness is all about. Happiness is that's all. He does not realize that happiness is not this. This is actually the foundation of pain. The happiness is somewhere else, which he needs to explore and understand. So his theory is limited, like a frog in the well. He thinks that happiness means satisfying your desire, and that's all happiness is all about. But actually, happiness is not satisfying your desires. Happiness is going beyond your desires and becoming absolutely like an observer to your desires, to your behavior, to your body, everything you are just observing. You are observing how the nature is conducting, because the body mind complex is nature, and how the nature is conducting. So you become an observer, and that is what gives you the real happiness. And then actually, there is a very beautiful incident in the life of Alexander the Great. When he came to India and he, was fighting to capture some parts of India, and of course he failed miserably there. But then when he was going back, he was told by his guru. His guru was a famous person from Greece, who told him that when you go to India, you bring a sannyasi for me, because we have heard a lot about Indian sannyasis. So he wanted to take a sannyasi with him when he was returning back to Greece. So he asked his, deputies that bring a sannyasi and we'll take him to Greece. So they went and searched for a sannyasi. They went all around. They found, somebody told them that there's a sannyasi on the river bank there. You go there. So they went there. They found the sannyasi. He was there, and they told him to, come with them because Alexander wants to take him to Greece. He says, you send Alexander and we will see what to do, because he doesn't need to take me there, but if he wants to take, then he should come. So Alexander himself came, and he said that you should come with me. He says, no, no, you can't take, you can't force me to go. I do whatever I like. I am absolutely liberated person. So he says, see, I will cut your head and throw it away if you don't obey my instructions. He says that do that. I will also see that my head is being cut and thrown away. I will also see that. So Alexander was astonished. He says, he said that yes, I will also see, because he's an observer, he's not a body. So he will say, I will also observe when my head is cut and put aside. And that was, a transforming moment for Alexander. Of course, he could not take him with him, but that is what he he got the message, but he never reached back to Greece. He died on the way. So the message never reached to his guru. But there are stories based on that. So this is how these asuri conducts happen, because of those three foundational things: mad, man, and damp. So these people feel that this is all you can get in this world. Continue to fulfill your desires, and that satisfaction you get, that is all the satisfaction, all the happiness you can get in this world, nothing beyond that. That is their principle, that is their theory. It is based on the fact that has been explained in verse number 8, that this whole universe is just matter, and it is reproducing itself because of male female combination, and there is no correlation, no conduct, there is no regulator, nothing in this world. That is the foundation of all this behavior. They don't even realize that the sun rises and we rise. The sun is approximately what, 15 billion kilometers away from us, and from that distance, we rise with the sun, we sleep after the sun. The whole digestive system of our body runs with the sun. The moon regulates so many facets of our life. The stars regulate so many facets. We don't realize all that combination, because they feel the whole universe, whole life is just an accident. And the so-called Big Bang theory also says that kind of thing. And that theory is creating more and more asuri conduct in the world, which is leading to disasters one after another. Now we'll take verse number 12. वे आशा की करोड़ों फांसियों में बंधे हुए मनुष्य काम क्रोध के परायण होकर विषय भोगों के लिए अन्याय पूर्वक धनादि पदार्थों का संग्रह करने की चेष्टा करते हैं। आशा की करोड़ों फांसियों से बंधे हुए। नाउ दिस इज आशा पास सत्तर बद्धा, दैट इज द संस्कृत वर्ड, काम क्रोध परायण। नाउ आशा की, व्हाट इज दैट आशा? आशा इज कि मैं आज आई विल बिकम मिनिस्टर टुडे एंड टुमारो आई विल बिकम चीफ मिनिस्टर एंड डे आफ्टर आई विल बिकम मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट एंड देन I'll become a cabinet minister and then I'll become the prime minister of India. Now that is Asha. Even the prime minister of India is not the final destination. Then he would like to have something else. Maybe he would like to become, I don't know, president of the world. He will conquer many countries and unite them and become, emperor of all those countries. And then he would like to, I don't know what else he wants to do. Maybe he wants to conquer the whole earth and then he wants to conquer the another planet and then another planet. So this is what the desires are. The karodo fascio, in every facet of our life we feel it. It is only an example, but this example will illustrate. Like you get married, then you have a child. Hmm? First, some people don't have child, so those who have child, they feel, oh, we are blessed. Then the child grows up, you try for his good education, you feel that he should become a you know fantastic student, and there also it is linked with your asha that my I can proudly say that my son is doing great in the school, my son is doing great in college, he has acquired first position in that section, and he has got a great job, and he's transforming the company where he's working. All this is driven by those desires. And then we also feel that he should get married with some nice girl, and he should have his own son or daughter issues and all that. Now these continue to further down, and then he says, the son falls sick one day, and then, oh, he should recover, or something else happens in the family, then you keep troubling yourself because of all these. I have seen people, first they desire to have a child. Once they have a child, then they feel that the child should go to this school, that school. They look for the school, then they look for the tuition of the child so that he acquires good grades. And then they look for a good job for him. Then they find connections who can provide him job, and then they try to arrange his marriage again, but he doesn't want to marry, he resists, and then there's a fight in the society, in the family, and then he wants to do something else which the father doesn't like, so then there is a fight there. So there's a difference between expectations and reality. So all those things keep happening. It happened in my life also to some extent. I'm not saying I'm beyond that, but I have now understood that this is all unnecessary. This was not desirable, and this is actually not leading anywhere in life. So it's best to reconcile and to accept the life as it comes, to accept the life, to flow with the flow of time, to flow with the, like you can easily swim when you are swimming in the direction of the river, but if you want to swim upstream, it becomes a big struggle, and ultimately you may not succeed, or you may even die in the process. So that is what happens. So if we fight against the time and tide, then it becomes difficult. So the thing is that these desires are infinite. They are not, it is not possible to satisfy them fully. And we remain engaged all the time. So, आशा की करोड़ों फांसियों. This is a very important word. We keep expecting this will happen. And all those, chains are all around us. They keep pulling us and pushing us and giving us some pleasure and some pain. And this is how the life continues. So, and then if calm growth, then if the ashas are fulfilled, if the desires are fulfilled, then you have more calm, more desires. They multiply. If they are not fulfilled, then growth, then you have what? You become angry, you become upset. That did not happen. If your son doesn't accept your, way of thinking, then you become angry. If he accepts, then you expect something more from him. So this process continues. So the calm and growth, they are actually directly linked to the fulfillment of asha. If the asha is fulfilled, then you develop that further desires, and if it is not fulfilled, then you become absolutely angry. एंड देन विषय भोगों के लिए अन्याय पूर्वक धनादि पदार्थों का संग्रह करने की चेष्टा करते हैं. Now this sangrah has become that we keep accumulating things. This accumulation has become a big problem. Whatever area some people are engaged in accumulating wealth. Some people are engaged in accumulating paintings. Some people are engaged in accumulating, some books. Some people are engaged in accumulating power. Some people are engaged in having large number of contacts. So there are variety of accumulations. Some people are engaged in accumulating social, wealth, that they do this, and then they will be recognized in the society. So this accumulation is a serious problem. That is why in Jainism they call it aparigraha, that you should give up accumulation completely. That accumulation is a serious disease, and this disease is actually a symptom of asuri conduct. The asuri conduct leads us to accumulating wealth or whatever we accumulate in life. So we should not have this habit of accumulating. Accumulation is not only that, even, like now I realize there was a time when I used to go for shopping here and there. When went to Europe, we have this what you call sales. In French, they call it liquidation totale, the total liquidation of a shop. So they will put it at a very high discount. So there used to be big rush. Thousands of people will go there, and then we also used to go once a while, and accumulate this, accumulate that. And you come out with shopping, and then you realize that for 10 years you never used any one of those items in your life. They were just put in the storage for 10 years. You didn't even know they existed after a while. So this is what accumulation actually leads to. It's only a conduct. It doesn't give you satisfaction. So this is how this behavior, this behavior is based on those three foundations. Remember that, the dambh, man, and mad. These foundations are the one which lead us to this conduct of getting more and more and more and more and more and more. And this more and more is never ending. This is an infinite process. This is what Lord Krishna wants to say. And this is what I, explained a little bit through the beautiful verses in Mahabharata, which explains that even if you, there's another verse which I could not find, which basically means like this, that if you have your own kingdom and you acquire the kingdom of the whole earth, that you conquer the entire earth, and you have all the wealth to yourself, you don't even grow old, you remain young all the time. Even then, you will not be able to fulfill your desires. So you have entire earth at your disposal. You are not growing old. You have all the resources with you. Even then, your desires will not be fulfilled because you will ask for more. You will ask for the second planet. You will ask for the third planet. You will ask for the whole universe. And that is what the one of the verses said, that once you become God, then you want to become the king of gods. And once you become king of gods, I don't know, he wants to become something else. So this is how all this process continues. So we will conclude here today up to verse number 12, and we will proceed on that. But these verses give us a very good yardstick to measure our own conduct and behavior, and how we can improve ourselves, and how we can accept the realities of life, without unnecessarily engaging ourselves in a conduct which is not desirable. So thank you very much. If you have any question, I can spend another 5 minutes or so with you. Thank you.